we are doing days in and days out to these nations' growing economic influence on this strategic visions on the global stage. First, may I ask, let's talk about the macro. Let's get into macro picture first. Dr. Ponchai, why we're doing business, whether inbound, outbound, politics play a key role, essential roles. But if we are doing business overseas, a Thai business going overseas, the geopolitics itself play a crucial role in the success of the business that we are doing. So may I ask Dr. Ponchai to give us an overview of what is your view about the geopolitical landscape and how Thailand positioning itself and how that impacts the business for Thai who spring for doing it overseas. Please, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Khun Siriporn, for giving me the floor. I am so glad that I could be here, and of course, thanks to the organizing committee for the invitation, so that I can learn more from the panelists since the morning session. To start with, I just would like to clarify a little bit. I'm no longer working for the ACD Secretariat because I just finished my term of office last month. Regarding the query that you asked me about geopolitics, in a nutshell, I could say that the world is in crisis and fragmented, of course, due to not only new challenges and also technologies and the state of play, but also there are a lot of actors, be they states or non-state actors, which include NGOs, civil society, international organizations, private sector, as well as some other groupings. Geopolitics is always at the back of our mind, not as investors, but also negotiators, especially those in the security circle, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for one. I just would like to backtrack a little bit what we have experienced before COVID-19 burst out. It's always superpowers rivalry, but even after we have experienced new normal, we have experienced supply chain disruption. Those who see crisis could also see opportunities as well. For example, Vietnam, India, and Mexico could benefit from supply chain disruption. Decoupling, of course, as a result of trade war between the US and China. The term that former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice wrote is onshoring, nearshoring, and also friendshoring. These are the terms that he used in order to portray what is the state of play as of now. We have experienced also travel restrictions and new normal, but now the world has changed as a result of globalization as well. Some could say that probably it's not globalization, but deglobalization. But to me, globalization has just slowed down. Professor Jeffrey Sachs, once again, wrote in his new book, The Ages of Globalization, he mentioned that geopolitics goes in parallel with globalization, and we are approaching the new era of geopolitics and globalization. We will face economic inequality, war, and also we need to be mindful of sustainable development. These are some points that I just would like to share with you as a starting point when we talk about geopolitics. But then, how does Thailand could position ourselves in the international community? We may have enjoy the national policy of bamboo diplomacy, which means that we goes according to as dictated by situation, and we remain flexible. We also heard that we are quite neutral or neutralized, but at the same time, some could say that whether or not we do have our own position to share with others, especially to offer to investors. I believe what we could offer to others is about competitive advantage. What is best that others may have. Theme of today's discussion, riding global trends. We may have to make sure that we are not only in the driver's seat, but we know how to drive and in which direction. Not just drive as a driver, but we know how to make it meaningful. Meaningful not to our domestic constituents, but also to share with the international community. Because we may have to know that we want to be a resilient, responsible player in the international community, not just as a sovereign state or as part of ASEAN. I just would like to say before my time is running out that we, as a small developing country, we have to go by the book, the UN Charter, and also general international law. But we have to adapt or adjust our policy on a case-by-case basis. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I joined before my retirement, was that we may have to consider day by day how do we adjust our foreign policy as far as implementation is concerned. And this is what I would like to highlight. As far as implementation is concerned, not about national agenda or not about foreign policy of Thailand, but it's for day-to-day implementation. Anyway, we have to be resilient that whatever that we adjust, it has to come back to our core interests of Thailand. Getting back to investment that we what we are here for. I'm also a lawyer by training. What comes to mind is whether or not this country has formerly BIT, bilateral investment treaty, but now probably FTAs or RCEP. And then what about dispute settlement? We may recall that we are a WTO member. So whatever is agreed to under the WTO, this is what we can comply. When I serve as an official at the WTO mission, I mean the Thai mission to the WTO in Geneva. I covered 9 cases at that time after the honeymoon period was over. But then what comes to mind is whether we can be WTO compliant, and this is what we have to bear in mind as well. The other point that I just would like to offer is about the perception of potential threat that a particular country may have. As an investor, we may claim that we are positioned in a strategic location, and we have secured quite a peaceful situation over the past years. But all in all, others may be more competitive in that light, and whether we can reposition ourselves to make sure that we are always on the radar screen. This is something that I just would like to finish by offer somewhat a few points for you to keep in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ponchai, who shared his, I would say, candid insight. That he's very diplomatic, as you can tell. He said it in a very nice way. I'm quite interested in what you just say that Thailand use the bamboo strategy, or like go with the flows, or being neutral as the policy. At least if we are investing overseas, the Thai investor can at least be assured that the country might not take side, and therefore they can maintain their balance when they invest overseas, and not dramatically going polarized on each way. However, I would like to hear your views that if that kind of strategy that has been used in 200 years ago, 100 years ago, still work for today environment, while we are the most wanted between the two, they would welcome us to be in their country, on their side, whatever. But how sustained it is when we making decision in investing in any country, so that would impact. That's number one questions, and I have another to follow, but let's start with that one first.
Once again, thank you very much for this pertinent point, because this is the one that I would like to touch upon. Some of you may know that the third ACD summit is just around the corner, because on the 3rd of October, ACD summit will be held in Qatar. ACD is in fact the brainchild of Thailand. It was initiated under the Thaksin Shinawatra administration in 2002. I recall very well the opening remarks that he made 22 years ago, that when we look back 10 or 20 years from then, I'm sure that we could see how ACD would prosper for the betterment of our peoples. And I think this is the propitious time that we reap the benefit of the ACD. Why I'm saying this is because as a small developing country, we have to rely very much on multilateralism, but in particular regionalism. You name it. In 1967, when ASEAN, the Bangkok Declaration was signed in Thailand. Of course, Thailand as one of the founding fathers. And then 30 years ago, BIMSTEC. And then in 2002, ACD, comprising as of now 35 countries. This is a window of opportunity, not only for Thailand, but also 35 Asian countries to make the best use of this forum. Not just about exchange of views, but also to see what Asian countries could do. I recall a book by Ambassador Kishore who said, whether or not Asia can think. Yes, definitely we can. And definitely we can deliver action. And this is the forum that we should make the best use of it. As Thailand is going to attend the summit, we can also combine the cooperation and collaboration with the private sector in the ACD Business Forum and also Chambers of Commerce that was initiated by Qatar and followed by Turkey. This ACD comprises countries East Asia, China, Japan, Korea, all ASEAN 10, South Asia, India, Pakistan, and others, SAARC members, all GCC countries in the West, Central Asia, some of them, including Turkey, Iran, and also Russia, which according to the UN categorization is considered part of Europe, but Russia is a member of the ACD. So we see the benefit of this diversity, and we should make the best use of it. And because Thailand is not only one of the players, but we should play the leading role in making sure that the ACD remains relevant to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ponchai. We have heard from him that Thailand has been partners for both multilateral as well as the regional cooperations. So clearly that Thai governments place significant importance on negotiating several type of the cooperation treaties and other in order to help promoting investment and the business and trade. So I'd like to move on to the next speakers who would be able to share with us that among all those efforts that the Thai government is driven, as I counted as of last night, I think Thailand have signed 15 FTA with the 19 countries, and there's numbers of them underway, and 4 or 5 of them, if I can count, that requires enhancement. Particularly not only FTA, I'd like to hear from Kun Thanakrit from the Trade Office of the Department of Trade and Negotiation on what is the ongoing treaties or FTAs that we have entered into, and Dr. Ponchai mentioned about the JTC, the RCEP, the BIMSTEC. We have also AEC, ASEAN, RCEP, several of them. How those, what is the current status of those, and how does it impact the business that we are doing either inbound or outbound, but particularly outbound because there's lots of requirements under those mission that we need to comply when the country has signed that. Please, Dr. Thanakrit, could you share with us?
ขอบคุณ
คุณครับ thank you คุณสิริพล and thank you Dr. Ponchai for your session on the ACD and good day to all of you and those who are traveling to Bangkok to attend this event. I'm from Trade Negotiations Department and our main file, our main core responsibility is, as it named, to negotiate free trade agreements and all regional and multilateral free trade agreements. Yeah, so let me go through my presentation today. I've prepared a lot of presentation, but I'll try to sort of to finish it quickly. Okay, as Khun Siripan just mentioned, right now we have FTA with 19 countries, 15 FTAs that have been signed and implemented, and 8 FTAs we are still working on 8 FTA that are still what we call in progress. And in terms of cooperation part, we have what we call JTC. We are a member of APEC, and the upcoming that our NESBD has mentioned in the first session about our intention to join OECD is something that is coming. So in terms of Thailand's international cooperation, I would divide my presentation into parts, something that is happening now and something that is going to happen in the future. So as you can see from this presentation, 15 FTAs with 19 countries. They are in the green color, and the ongoing one they are in the pink color, and the blue color represent the potential FTA partners that we might be approaching them in the future. So 15 FTA that I mentioned here, we have Thailand, Australia FTA, Thailand, New Zealand, Thailand, Japan, Thailand, India, Thailand, Peru, Thailand, Chile, Thailand, Sri Lanka. And when it comes to ASEAN, we have ASEAN as 10 countries, and we have ASEAN with dialogue partners, ASEAN China, ASEAN India, ASEAN Japan, Korea, ASEAN Australia, New Zealand, ASEAN Hong Kong, and of course we have RCEP, the 15 ASEAN plus 5, right? 10 plus 5 ASEAN and Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, and South Korea, because India has not joined the club yet. And so it's the journey of our FTA from 1993 when we started with ASEAN, right? And then this journey is far from 1993 until now. So the latest one that we just signed is Sri Lanka, and we are still sort of doing a domestic procedure to implement, to make it enter into force. Because we have signed a lot of FTAs, right? And of course, some FTA have been old, let me say that, have been old, and we need to upgrade them. So therefore, in ASEAN, we have also upgrading what we call the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, right? We have to upgrade to accommodate the new challenges. So the new article upgrade, the ASEAN upgrade for trade in goods, it will include trade in crisis, sort of essential goods, trade and environment, e-contact, e-commerce, and MSME chapter. So those chapters are kind of the new challenges we have to accommodate. It's a new sort of new topic, emerging issue that countries are interested. So the previous FTA, they are a bit sort of, they are a bit outdated. That's why we have to bring in the new issues to incorporate into our new sort of FTAs. We still have the new FTA for Thailand that we are still what we call in process. Yeah, so we have 8 FTAs. One is Korea-Thailand FTA, which is being discussed today in Seoul. This week is the second round of negotiations. We have Thai-Bhutan FTA, Thai-UAE, Thai-Turkey, Pakistan, Thai-EFTA, and Thai-EU FTA. And for the regional with ASEAN, is ASEAN and Canada FTA. So those eight FTA, particularly Korea and EU and also EFTA, we're trying to conclude the negotiations by next year. So this is our sort of time frame for our negotiations. Also Canada, so ASEAN Canada, we just started last year. So when it comes to international cooperation for Thailand, we have this forum that what we call the JTC, it's Joint Trade Committee. So Joint Trade Committee is a sort of bilateral forum between Thailand and our trading partners. So we have a lot of JTC with many countries in the world. And JTC is complementary to our FTAs, right? So simply put it, what we cannot discuss in FTA, we might have to discuss it in JTC. And with countries that we don't have FTA with, JTC will sort of help pave the way for the future FTA. Yeah, that's what we are doing with like the UK. We have a JTC with UK, but we don't have the FTA with UK yet. So we might start with the JTC first, and then it can be elevated to
As
the
a cursor,
FTA.
as a cursor.
Yeah, as a cursor. Yeah. So the last part that the previous speaker in the morning just mentioned already is the path to OECD, right? Because now in ASEAN, it's just Thailand and Indonesia that are what we call accession country. So to becoming a full member of OECD will give you a lot of benefits, right? Yeah, it level up your image to the world, and of course. Once we became a OECD member, I'm sure that a lot of countries would be interested in doing trade and investment with us, engaging with us in FTA agreements, and as I heard this morning that this process might take time, but once this is complete, I think it's going to be a new chapter for our country, and will bring a lot of course, trade and investment into the region, to the country. And just a bit before I finish my presentation is that it's about the digital trade agreement in the new sort of in this changing world, because as digital transformation has impacted our life, a lot of countries have rushed to create a digital-focused free trade agreement. In ASEAN, we have what we call ASEAN Digital Economy Framework Agreement, or DEFA, which which negotiations started last year, and 6th round of negotiations have been concluded. And we expect to conclude the negotiation by 2025. DEFA will be very important to not only to Thailand but also to ASEAN as a region, because it will be the first ever digital-focused free trade agreement in ASEAN. And Thailand, as a chair of negotiating committee, we are working very hard to create this important agreement, add value, make them to become the state-of-art agreement, which will, it will attract more investment, digital investment in Thailand and to the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Thunakit, for sharing, give us a broad perspective of where Thailand is standing, what is next, that Thailand is going. I've heard, glad to hear about the digital economy, which is a lot of people in this room. Must be interesting that how Thailand is part of the Thailand transformation to the new era of the business. I understand that many of us in this room come from Europe, right? Can you show hands? Or someone who's doing business with Europe, right? I'd like to hear your views about the ongoing negotiation on the Thailand-EU FTA. How close we are on that note, please.
Thank you, Kap. For Thailand and EU negotiations, the first round of negotiations started last year in Bangkok, and we host the meeting in November. I'm sorry. The first round of the meeting started in Brussels. Sorry, yeah, I was there to just confused. So
many of them.
Yeah, so many of them. Yeah. So the first round of Thai-EU negotiations started in Brussels in September. We launched the negotiation in March, right? In March, and then the first round started in September, and the second round was in Bangkok early this year in late January, February, and the third round was in Brussels. So far, the negotiations are going well, right? The first three rounds, negotiators have exchanged views and ideas on how to move forward in each chapter. There are more than 20 chapters in the negotiations, and digital trade is one of them, right? Of course, there are there's still a long way to go, a lot of challenges still facing, but it's just three rounds. And the fourth round will be held in Bangkok in November, and the negotiations are expected to conclude next year. So the time frame is like 2 years.
2 years. It's progressing.
It's progressing.
Active,
yeah, it's
right?
progressing.
Active,
yeah, you know, usually for negotiation, most of them are textual-based negotiations. So for some chapters, it is going far. Some chapter is still not going that far. But you know, we need to keep pace of negotiations, right? As I mentioned, as a trade negotiations, we have to balance, right? Try not to make it go too far. Try to make it go too slow. I mean, but because anyway. In those working groups, we are working very hard to trying to make progress. Of course, as mentioned, and there's some challenges.
The reason that I asked about, particularly about the Thai EU, is not only the participants, many of them are from there, but also understand that the EU rules typically is quite strict. And my personal observation is that Thailand always like to follow pretty much on the EU regulations, many things, whether it's on data privacy, on the technology, on various things that create difficulties for even the U.S. investor to get into the EU market because they're so restrictive. And if Thailand signed the FTA with the EU, and you know that typically when they negotiate FTA, it's not FTA per se. A lot of time these days, that's why many FTA cannot be concluded, just because many interest groups have lots of, I think, industrial association know that have lots of items that hang with the trade and business. It's not purely trade and business. It's sometimes it's social issues, human rights issues, environmental issues. How do you see that? That's number one. Number two, I saw earlier slide that you show that have a lot of ASEAN and other country FTA, because the economy and the level of the developments of the ASEAN countries are not the same. We have friends who have maybe lagged behind on many things, and how that would impact this multilateral cooperation to get concluded under the name of ASEAN, because we have a neighbor of friends that have many items, issues as well.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you for your question. Yeah, to respond to your first question on EU, right? Of course, EU is one of our sort of one of the most important trading partners of Thailand, and entering negotiation with the EU is not easy. It's tough. But in, national interest, I think, is the most important when it comes to the conclusion of negotiations. Negotiation is about to give and to take and to give, right? So you have to balance the outcome. You have to sort of to evaluate thoroughly the benefits of these negotiations, both for Thailand and the EU. Sensitivities remain, but there should be some flexibilities for some sensitive issues that Thailand and EU are not ready. So I think it's too early to sort of prejudge the outcomes. But so far, I think the progress is going well. So I think we have to wait and see. And I hope, all negotiators hope, both sides, that we could find a proper sort of landing zone on those sensitive issues.
Thank you very much. Well, we heard from the policy side of it. Let's hear from the operator and practitioner side of it. Kun Kitti Thiraphonchai from the Thai Federation of Thai Industry. Let me ask you also, Kun Thira, that you heard from these multilateral or regional corporations that Thai government try to help the business to support and promote the business of Thai. As the federations of the Thai industry, do you see the real benefits that the fruits come out from those FTA, for instance? Maybe certain sectors might enjoy the fruits of it, and some sector might got some impact on it as well. And how do you see the Thai business going overseas as well? Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Siriporn. And I would like to say that yes, FTA must be fruitful in principle. Yep, and you already mentioned that maybe some players in Thai not ready for FTA, but that's our mission to try to develop and improve ourselves. Since the morning, I believe that we already heard about sharing about the macroeconomic picture. So my turn, let me share the voices from the microeconomic, the private sector. At the FTI, the Federation of Thai Industries, we have so many corporate members. We have more than 16,000 corporate members consisted of 46 industry clubs, different industry, which is industry based, and also the 26 provincial club, which is area based. So it is very difficult to try to unite and to speak the same language. Everyone mentioned that Thailand is conflict neutral. I must say that we are also the peaceful country. We love peace, but we don't love to change. We don't love to adapt. Approximately maybe 10 years ago, we still enjoy saying the same with our same old business industry, the way we do business and the way we manufacture the products. We were like a frog enjoying the warm water, and we didn't aware that the water is boiling. I'm going to say about the factors that impact Thai industries aggressively. We can feel it in 4D. First D is the disruption. Everyone knows this is not new. Digital disruption already disrupt many business in Thai already. Now we are facing the technology disruption, which is the direct effect to the Thai manufacturer. many of our members have no idea at all how, can I say, the Chinese manufacturer can produce the products faster with the more variety of the SKUs and with the not only lower price but lower cost. They're very cost effective. We have no idea at all. If I can mention something quite popular in the world like a Tesla. Okay, we have been the Detroit of Asia. We are good at we were good at manufacture and assemble automobile, but Mr. Elon Musk tried to disrupt everything with the giga press that with one the mold you can pump and make the body of a car with one pump, one press. This is kind of the technology disruption that we have no idea how it works. Yep. The second D is a disaster. I mean the COVID. Yep. We no one could ever imagine it coming. Yep. The third D, everyone mentioned about the deglobalization, which changed the arrow of the supply chain in the global arena. Yep. And the last one, which affects the human being, is the decarbonization. Yep. I mean the global warming or the global boiling. Yep. These four Ds, which are what the committees of the Federation of Thai Industry try to figure out, because for Thai business, we have so many weaknesses and we have so many solutions. It's like overwhelming. Now, after 4 days of the impactful factors, we can see a lot more importance of SME. Frankly speaking, no worry about the big conglomerate or large enterprise. They can take care of themselves. But at FTI, we try to unite our members. For the big companies like the big conglomerates, we want them to be a big brother, to support, to be a host, to have the cluster of industry, to support the SMEs, but SME need to adapt to improve themselves. So we come up with the 5 strategic objectives of how to support our members, the Thai industries. Firstly, we want to form the industry collaboration, or you can say the clusters, because no one can survive by their own like before anymore. You need to be part of the bigger supply chain. For example, maybe the electronics, like the PCBs that we talk a lot today. But if we don't have a good plan enough, the total supply chain will be imported from abroad to set up in Thai. We need to form, but the SME cannot do it by themselves. Very scary, very scary. Second, we need to understand the nature of our industry. We have the first industry, the traditional, the ordinary industry. How to change them to the next gen industry? I'll mention later. Third, SMEs. When we talk about SMEs in Thai, the government try to set the standard. Okay, if your revenue doesn't exceed 500 million baht, you are SME. But it's not like that in FTI. In FTI, we try to, thank you. We try to figure out a new definition of how to improve SME, not in terms of the revenue, but we want them to be the smart management enterprise. The smart management enterprise means that they are resilient. They are resilient. They know how to adapt and they are changeable. To cope with the new industry, the new world order. The fourth strategy is FTI want to be the smart service center to help SME access to the new knowledge or even to the new regulation, how to cope with the lawyers. For example, we want to help Thai SMEs to at least to be able to compete in our own country. We have the project called MIT, Made in Thailand. Made in Thailand, we want to clarify about the local content of the products manufactured in Thai and we work with the government to give them their handicap. Yeah, for example, like some of the stationery, when the government, when they have the procurement project, the Thai products with MIT certification may have maybe 3 or 5% of the handicap comparing to the products from abroad or imported products. For example, this is a sample of the service, smart service platform that we want to convey. And the fifth strategy, it is very difficult how to educate Thai entrepreneurs to understand the importance of the global warming situation, about how to understand the principles of the ESG. They thought ESG is very far from them. This is something for the company listed in the stock market, but not anymore. Not anymore. Even for the SME, which I mean smart management enterprise, you can have ESG policies in your company. Yeah, no matter how size, big or small they are.
Thank you. We heard from the private sector here. What I heard from you is that yes, we are ready to go abroad, but first you have to be strong locally. You have to compete, be able to compete and set the high standard locally. What you express the concerns is more on the SME side, that we cannot go alone. We have to go together, and the whole supply chain, including SME, has to be strong, particularly on the ESG area. And the importance of the ESG doesn't require much of the high capital incentive. It's a matter of tracking, recording, and know how to do the business. Well, let's move on to the very, very important topic, because that we are the gathering of the lawyers, and how we would like to find out how the lawyers can play its roles in help promoting the business, particularly for the Thai business to springboard to invest in the overseas. So we have the Kun Promนะคะtip from as a private practitioners. I would like to hear your views on the role of the legal advisor or lawyers to help pushing, promoting the Thai, help the Thai business to go overseas, particularly that we have to get into the seas of the regulations, requirements in the countries that they are investing, and how the policy that Thailand's supporting, does it work, and how we do it, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I would like to share my view from the experience working together, helping investors from other countries coming to Thailand, and also working for Thai operators going overseas. And also we've been working on several projects to support the government in shaping the policy, and also we are actually now working on one project to support the Department of Trade negotiations in to support the information in to prepare for the FTA discussion as well. So what I realized from my experience is that I think now every country in the world is facing the challenge of figuring out how to position themselves in the world due to the crisis, due to the geopolitics. So I think Thailand as well is one of the countries trying to figure out how we should position ourselves. But what I've observed from the work, with many people, I think people coming to Thailand is not looking at us as one particular country. They are looking at us as one of the region. They are coming to invest in the region, and they are also trying to understand how the inbound investment to the region can help them go back to the overseas markets as well. So I think, from my experience, I think the challenge that the private sector has is that the lack of information. Now we are flooded with information. There are information from the government sector. There are information from the overall policy, the global policy.
The one information actually is not,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not accurate. The same one information.
Yes, and we are flooded with information. We don't know where to look for the information and how we can apply that information to benefit our business, right? So I think that where the lawyers can take part, we gather information, but not only gathering information, we try to analyze them. And of course, we cannot work alone. I myself practice in country, in Thailand. We cannot only, provide our fruitful advice, just knowing Thai law. We need to work with our friends. And I'm honored to be part of the network, with all qualified lawyers, so we can share information. I think this is the role of the lawyer in the present time. I think we need to work together. I agree with Kuntira that we need to join force. We can no longer work alone. So I think that's all that I would like to share as from the perspective of a lawyer.
Since you mentioned, what is the constraints or disadvantage of the Thai investor in going overseas? What are those traits? Yeah.
Yes, I think I would need to agree with Kuntira again. For the big corporation, the large corporations, they can take care of themselves. We will concern more for the SMEs because the cost of getting the information, only to get the information, is very high. I've experienced leading a project of a research and study on investment laws in the countries around the Red Sea region. I understand that for SMEs, we focus more on going out to the emerging markets, right? To the new market, because we think that there's a good chance that we can compete, more than to go to the mature market, right? So going to these emerging markets, you need a lot of information of, local regulatory requirements and restrictions. In that project, we did some research on the local laws in Egypt, in Eritrea, in Djibouti, in Yemen, some countries that, some countries that I've heard of for the first time, And I found that, it's very, very difficult to get to the information in some of the countries. And it might be almost impossible to get to the information without, being in touch with the local lawyer. So I think it's almost impossible for SMEs to get all this information on their own. So that I think that's a key challenge for the SMEs.
And Kuntira, do you agree with Kun Prambun in terms of the lack of, I would say, accurate or reliable data or open data, the source, the resource that lack of, and how you navigating through those hurdles?
Yes, I totally agree. This is very difficult for SME. When I say SME, please be aligned that I'm not talking about micro SME. I'm talking about enterprise that they have the competencies, but about the legal, about the international trade. This is very difficult. So I can share some of the progressive that we can see in FTI. For example, Saudi Arabia. I believe that maybe 5 years ago, no one ever imagined that we would fly to Saudi Arabia to have a trade mission to talk to the local businessmen. But this is because there's support from the government and about the relationship between Thai and Saudi Arabia. And when we have trade mission, so many times, I heard that, some of our chairman or vice chairman also fly there with Kun Siriporn, right, to have a talk with many organizations in Saudi Arabia. It increased our confidence. And when we have a pilot, I mean the pioneers, that some of them already established in that target countries, we can share. We can ask for the success case or the real situation, how hard it was. So it is very difficult because without the legal suggestion or the consultation, I can say there's no way that the Thai entrepreneurs could ever dare investing in the new country. And yes, for the target in countries that we are capable to invest is the emerging countries, which need our technology. Like last year, we welcomed the delegates from Kenya, very new for us, but we just learned that they have the special economic zones with the very fruitful proposal or the benefits for international investment, for example.
Very important for the Thai investor to expand its market overseas. Since you mentioned about Saudi Arabia, may I go to Dr. Ponchai, who was the former ambassador to the Sultanates of Oman and the South Africa. You have experience. Do you, in your views about in your recent past, Thai business when they go to do business overseas, they come to the embassy to help, and how corporates, the local government would support. Early in the morning, we heard about Thailand try to support the business, and this is the flip side of the Thai business going overseas. And how could you share with that? I have a second question though, but let's go for this one first.
Thank you very much for this question. It's a pity that they go to liaise themselves with the embassy only from time to time. We want them to touch base with us more often because we have a lot to share. Of course, with recommendations as appropriate, decision making lies with them, of course. But they don't seem to think that the embassy would be of help anyway. My point is that we are not only in the on the spot with the country concerned, but we have already tried to gain the market access, or in fact create the level playing field for Thai investors and Thai businessmen. We have also learned that by way of technologies, online meetings may have worked itself so far. But usually, as the previous speakers already mentioned, personal networking, I don't want to say personal connections because it might lead to some other meaning. But personal networking is always the centerpiece, because not only in the field of investment or trade, but even when in the area of security, that I used to serve at the Recap Information Sharing Center based in Singapore. We learned that when we discuss with the navies or coast guards, of course they always go by the book, definitely. But with personal connections, we can share more information, relevant information, insightful information, so that we know what action to take from there. And this is always the case. And the embassy can be of help, at least to give investors some inputs as necessary.
Any final words before we go around to get a final words? Particularly, if you have any views about the upcoming U.S. elections in this 2 months time, November, how is impact Thai business and all the business in this region?
Well, as a layman, I could say that every eye is on the upcoming U.S. election. We would like to know in which direction the U.S. is going to lead not only the U.S. itself but also the world. We in general, I could say that if the Republican has its way or in the upper hand, social issues are not their priority. That's what I can share in principle. Of course, it's always on the agenda of the U.S. Of course, human rights and others, but for the Republican, social issues are not the priority. Then it may be better to work with them in order to get business done.
Thank you. We have a lot of things to think about. Well, Kun Thanakitt, I would like to hear your words of advice to all of us here, particularly that you mentioned before that about adapting the balance and proactive approach by the Thai government. They have a lot of hopes, there's a lot of FTA and lots of things are underway. What would be your tips for the audience today of doing business overseas and what are we hopeful for the business overseas, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Khun Srivath. And before I answer my question, I would just want to respond to the earlier questions that you asked that I did not answer about ASEAN. ASEAN was and has been and always will be important to us. So to us, to Thailand and ASEAN. So when we negotiate with ASEAN, it's not easy. It's 10 different countries, 10 different regimes, 10 different mindsets, right? So of course, it's not easy, it's difficult, and it's challenging. However, every time ASEAN, we always have been able to find a proper solution, a proper landing zone with the view, to enhancing our sort of trade and economic relationship. So it's not, okay, A, it's not easy. Second, every country is trying very hard when it comes to negotiating table and flexibilities are given for countries that are not ready. So this is what I wanted to respond to your earlier question that I didn't have the opportunity to answer. Come back to answer now. The tips for businesses to go abroad as a representative of Minister of Commerce. I think two things. A is a mindset. You need to have an open mindset when you want to do business with your counterparts in many countries. You cannot stay in your comfort zone, right? You have to sort of move out of your comfort zone to see the potential in those countries. And second is to do a lot of research, do a lot of homework of your sort of potential partners. Apart from the embassy, where sort of ambassador sort of mentioned earlier, Ministry of Commerce, we have more than 50 trade offices around the world to help you to navigate through the potentials, to connect with your potential business partners. You can contact us at ditp.go.th. You can see a list of our offices around the world. So I think there's two things that you need to sort of bear in mind when you want to do business abroad. Mindset and open mindset and doing a research. Thank you.
Great tips. And I can speak on behalf of I heard also from the Thai government, they're also need information from the private sector. While the private sector is complaining that there's not enough information from the government, but at the same time, the government sitting in their office, they could not get information. So I have to say thank you to the ASEAN Legal Alliance. This is the channel that the business can share information, and you can act as a medium to pass it on to the Thai government. Saying that, I'd like to hear the final words for tips for doing business from the private sector, from Kun Thira. What is your words of advice to all of us here?
Okay, I would like to wrap up with our two keywords today, springboard and outbound investment. About the outbound investment, okay, let me try to convince you to change the perspective that to ride the global trend, I try to mention the keyword of the event, that we must be a crucial part in the new supply chain. This is very important because if you want to invest, you can open your investment account, open with any banks or institute. You can invest with Apple or Nvidia. But to strengthen Thailand, we need to be a crucial part in the new supply chain, which means there must be a technology transfer. We need to be able to access to the new market. And lastly, we need to be able to utilize our local content, not only land in the industrial estate. This is very important. So for the springboard, the FGI want to strengthen Thai industries by make them go global. This is very, very important. We don't have to be afraid of the global competition. We need to be global. Secondly, we need to go digital to be more resilient, to be more flexible. Third, we need to go innovation. This is unavoidable. And fourth, we need to go green. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you to the ASEAN Legal Network. Sometimes we can initiate a new collaboration with our target countries by some industry or by some businessmen, but I think maybe it could be initiated by lawyers. So if someone in this room or your partners are specialized in making the business cooperation with any countries, you can contact either the Federation of Thai Industry or the Chamber of Commerce or the Association of the Bank of Thailand. We are the joint standing committee together, and we have the business council to be the gateway, to be the host, to make the meeting with the delegates from any target industry, and very welcome.
And I understand that Thai Industrial Federation has a session with the Thai government monthly.
Correct. Joint standing committee.
Basically. So that's another channel, Thai Federation Industry. Well, lastly, I'd like to hear the advisor, the legal advisor here, that Bun, could you share with us that your network, not only in Thailand, but with this alliance in various countries, and sometimes the business doesn't have to learn it from its own expense, and how the legal network can help the business doing whether inbound or outbound, please.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. I think in this room, we gather all the qualified lawyers from more than 20 countries all over the world. So please, I would like to encourage you all to exchange name cards. Some of you know each other for a decade already. So, but I encourage that you get to know each other, and I hope that you can create and establish the long-lasting relationship that will go beyond this event. And for those from the business sector, I think this is a very good opportunity for you to get to know the lawyers in other countries. Because if you want to expand your business elsewhere, then that would be the right person to go. The first person that you should go to is a lawyer. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. In closing, I think you all agree with me that Thailand's overseas investments are the testament of the nation's resilience and ambitions and foresight in riding the global trend. And regardless of what we do, we cannot do things alone. The gathering like today, the sharing of the insights from these experts, we hope that it would help you, whatever strategic decision you are about to make or will make in the future, would be successful with the help of all the alliance that we have here. I'd like to thank the expert on the stage today for sharing your candid insights and without withholding any tips for themselves. Thank you very much for sharing with us, and I hope all of you has enjoyed the conversation the same way as I enjoy. And thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if all our moderators and panelists could remain on stage because